Think we're recording again? I kind of spasmed the share button. Ah! Not you, not you, not you. Not you, not in here, no. I thought I drove out of this room to drive right back into it. And Gearhead is out of here again. You know, you say Sparky doesn't last very long, but if I didn't focus her every single time I saw her, I guarantee you she would last much longer. Gearhead, on the other hand, would not. Gearhead never lasts very long. It definitely hasn't in this episode, for sure. Or this story, anyway, not this episode. This is a new episode. So I'm just machine gunning and ramming the crap out of Gucker. Right, I have turbo. I should probably remember that. Because it's not like this thing is very fast on its own. Looks kind of weird. I hate that. There's clearly ground there. There's just an invisible wall. Get out of here. I blatantly cleared the fence. But anyway, it would be one thing if it was like, you know, a requirement that you have to stay in the boundaries. No, because in like 30 seconds from now, I'll be able to go onto that same piece of ground anyway. But of course, when I get my PS2, well, it is a universal adapter, so it would just be mostly for PS2 games, because those are the ones that I am most interested in playing. Hello. The first big Let's Plays I'd be doing, or at least big videos, I don't know if I'd call them Let's Plays, because similar to this game, similar to Assault of course doesn't really have a progression to it, or any kind of thing like that. I think I would have just stood on the power missile pickup and got 3 rather than 2. I wish I had a reticle power up right now. That'd be great. Alright. Hi, that. Boom. Boom. I am terrible. Oh, big shot. Get destroyed, that. I mean, quite literally destroyed, so. You're enjoying the fire there, Metacog. You didn't really seem to try and avoid it. Good missile. Bullseye. Control Alt Delete. Why didn't it? Oh Christ, your special weapon hurts. No! Get out of here with that. I've never ever hit anything with the blip attack. Ever. Probably what tends to happen when a blimp is trying to taser cars on the ground. Ugh! I cannot get these freezes to just land. Where was that? Oh, it's on a satellite. That is a lot of damage and a very dead Danny. instead. But the two big series that I would be doing would of course be the Velocity Wars and the WRL. WRL is the name for the championship that is, you know, constantly taking place during Speed Racer. It's the same copy-paste line that every other character has had. I swear, characters do have, or some characters do have lines, like special lines for this. Like, we saw Crazy 8 make a boxing illusion when faced with this level. It was like, you know, up on the ropes, you gotta be swift about it. So while he does say the same thing, it does kind of put a stipulation of, oh, it is like boxing. I have something to relate to it, other than I have to keep moving if I wish to survive. Like, no, really? But you kind of have to do that no matter what stage you're in. I kind of feel like that's just a kind of a given in this game. You have to keep moving, otherwise they wouldn't put you in a car. They just put you in a forklift or something. I don't know. What kind of thing would you want to drive if you ended up in this tournament? Tournament. More like torment, the way I'm speaking. Let's exchange ricochets. Really? I mean, I guess it was smart for him to do nothing since I was going to block any damage I might have taken anyway, but like, normally the AI don't think that far ahead, so that's kind of why I was like, really? Did it go and make me feel dumb because I blocked damage that wasn't even going to be taken in the first place? Well, I saw that last second and didn't even, you know, think to try and avoid it. I just like accepted my fate that I was going to run into the mine. And yeah, so for both the Velocity Wars or Velocity X and the WRL, which I would probably just call Speed Racer, or I don't know what I would call it. But the big solution behind both those series is that I won't actually be having a progression system. I won't be, you know, it wouldn't be like the typical playthrough you'd see on YouTube of, you know, play through the whole game, experience the whole content firsthand and whatnot, and the natural progression goes on as it does. Instead, it'd just be like, go kind of like this. This is all the characters I'm just playing through the game, you know, however the heck. And this is just kind of how the content's going to work for this game. I completed this game long ago, even on the PS4, which I've only had the game for a couple of months or so on the PlayStation itself. On this PlayStation anyway. I've had it on the PS2 for like a decade, which isn't even that long when you figure the game has been out for 17 years or so. Yeah, 17 like and a half, because it was like a couple of months before 9/11 took place. And of course, I think it's been pretty commonly done. People draw the illusion between 9/11 and the fact that this game has the scenario in the junkyard, the way you unlock Yellow Jacket, which is an NYC cab, no less. You have to shoot down a plane and make it crash into a building and then drive into where the plane crashed. And that's a hole in the warehouse. So yeah, everyone draws that conclusion pretty swiftly. Also, that went better than expected. And was like very minimal problems. I was gonna be like complete autopilot for like the second half of that game. Totally relevant information there, Cage. I once pushed a fat woman off a skyscraper. Isn't this where I spawned in the last thing? As Hypermite or Axel. Ah! Panic! The sky is falling, the sky is falling. That guy is about to be falling if he keeps that up. You're trying to ragdoll me off the stage, Darkside, but I'm thinking, newsflash, you're the one who's dead, not me. Gearhead is once again out within like a minute of the game starting. Gearhead just cannot get a break in this story. I don't know. Actually, that's a really dumb. I was about to say I don't know what Gearhead and Otto have that make them so angry at each other. Oh, I don't know. An entire game where Gearhead's prime goal is to shut down Otto. That might be it. I kind of forgot that that's where Gearhead came from. Wouldn't have been a relevant character as much as he probably is now if that weren't the case, where the GBA game was about him and not Danny. Speaking of Danny, have a gas can. Oh my goodness. Boom. Oh, hit a hit. Actually, thought I'd miss. Oh, that was a lot of fire, Danny. I killed him. Doom Disc or machine guns. That also works. Alright. I was gonna go in that. That's what I thought it would be annoying, because it just kind of tosses you around. Oh, hi, Alex. Not really the most fortunate spawn point. For me, apparently. Actually, never mind, I haven't even taken that much damage. I've lost, like, at most 10% of my health. And there's a lot of that to go around on Warthogs, which is, again, a liberty that I sometimes take a little too much of. You know, armor does not equate to unkillable. It just means harder to kill. And then, I mean, kind of rule of heavyweights means that being, you know, heavy and durable means being heavy and really, really slow and hard to maneuver. This doesn't just apply to Twisted Metal. This is kind of a universal thing in any battle-based game. Heavy things are tougher and slower. Whether it be fighting games, car combat, regular combat. That would be fighting games. I'm stupid. Okay, Hypermite, you can chill out with that. Hypermite, this is why you're... I don't miss this! That's 4! Stop! Oh, my button. I was going to be ragdolled into the cliff! Playing with fire. Which managed to effectively shield damage rather than, you know, shielding well after I've taken the majority of it. Which isn't even necessarily my fault. The fact that the game has makes you basically do a miniature Konami code to get an energy shield around your car. Now apparently we've got by Alex. Rare driving mistake from Alex, that is for sure. Okay, that's the 5th special you've used on me in this match alone. Pre still doesn't work if they start driving or start driving perpendicular to you. At 6, get out of here, you stupid boom, boom, boom. God damn it. Stupid AI infinite ammo cheating. I'm not going to chase you, Burn. You're in the car with 9 out of 10 speed. You can come down here to me. dead. There we go. Yeah, so the way I would just do Speed Racer, I know the way I would do, I don't even know how I would do either of those games, really. My original idea for Velocity X was, to do the adventure mode off-screen.
You're in violation of Midtown City Code 4432. Step out of your...
What is this guy's code? Do that off-screen so that we have, like, half of the cast. And then the gameplay footage starts with recruitment drives for every other character, you know, based off of a relevant character doing that. So, you know, like one such car is, you know, so Way Too Fast will end up being Bedlam. That's the first confirmed vehicle outside of like anything that isn't obvious. Like obviously Rigger Motor is gonna be Rigger Motor, or like Danny and Alex. Or Alex is obviously Vulture. Actually Danny is not MST Suzuka. I have him on Jaded for reasons I'll get into at a later point. I figure, yeah, it's his trademark car, but A, how often is he even in it? And B, that's the thing of the Velocity X characters, is they are, you know, able to be put in more than just one or two cars. Danny could be in kind of any sporty vehicle. He can be in Split Image 2, he can be in Jaded, he could be in MST Suzuka, he's been in all three of them before. And he could be in many others as well, if, like, needed. Those are just the four that I kind of think of. And Gearhead can be in, like, any car, like Camry Coupe, or, of course, these are if these cars are in the game and other alternatives are not. So, of course, it could be in Super Tuned, or Lakester, or Purple Passion, or, the other one I just said, Hammered Coupe, or like Shredster or something, and it would still be fine because all that really matters is that they're in anything from one of the many Velocity X, one of the two Velocity X games, which technically gives them 50 cars to play with, or very close to that number. And this kind of allows them to change their style based on the, you know, tasks at hand. Sparky's a good example of this. She has Hyperliner, she has Showstopper. She can use Showstopper during a race, and then use Hyperliner when it comes down to, you know, combat. Gearhead could use Super Tune during a battle, and then switch to Lakester for a race. Danny doesn't really have the same kind of option because he doesn't have a truck or heavyweight vehicle at his disposal. Ironic given that he is like the, you know, end-all be-all aggressive guy, and yet he doesn't have an aggressive kind of vehicle. He's all these like tuner cars and stuff, like, I mean, they're street cool and all that like he is, they just don't fit his driving style very well. Anyway, it's cutscene.
I had won the contest. I went to Calypso and demanded my prize. I wanted him to remove the part of my brain that made me so sad whenever I took a human life. I wanted to become the best killer there ever was. Calypso went to work right away, and as a bonus, he didn't just operate on my head. He gave me a new pair of hands. They would become my trademark. When I killed, everyone would know it was me. Midtown was scared of that clown freak. I'll show them something they'll never forget.
You mean the one that you allegedly killed in the contest? That clown freak! Yeah, his voice is out the edge mode to the max. He makes Shadow look like frickin' Tails. He's so edgy. So I'm actually done, or not done talking yet, because I'm discussing ideas for these series. But you know, so like, I'm gonna go into endurance mode with I don't know if I do it with the next one or with the one I just finished. I'll just keep on auto. It's that car, I enjoy driving Warthog a little bit more. So can I get... I don't know if it didn't pop up. Could I get Minion as an enemy here in the endurance stage or no? I don't know why I'm asking it like you would know the answer. I'm not actually doing this for the, I mean, I'm here to show it off that it's here, but I'm having the, like, invulnerability, like, get everything code on because I'm more for talking over than anything else. So, the idea was, like, you know, like I said already, you get, the, like, you know, what would be a total of like 16 or 17 cars, I think. No, you get a car for every mission, so you'd be up to like 20 cars. And then the other 33, other 13 I'd have to earn myself. So you'd have like the recruitment thing, like you have to get, well, one, you know, Bedlam is way too fast. That's for like the Hidden Key and Turbine Sands. So you have Alex or Governor or something like that, someone else on that side of the spectrum, go and get the key to, you know, summon Bedlam to the, you know, war. Even though he was technically already here, even in this battle as Brimstone, but that's beside the point. Or another one is, so every single character, or every single car, has a character in the Velocity Wars. There is no random, like, extra, like, everything has a name, everything has a driver. Oh god, it's Minion! I had a funny feeling that this could happen. I've apparently destroyed the shield, but the shield is still definitely there. Not anymore. Hi, Burn. Excuse me? Now come over here and take the damage you're supposed to have taken. There we go. And so that would leave a little bit of actual progression in the game, but since you've experienced everything else yourself, it doesn't really have the same effect. It's not like I'm less playing for an audience than you would be. I'm more so playing for personal enjoyment, your enjoyment, and story-based collaboration. How'd that miss? How'd that miss? There we go. Excuse me. Can I get on my wheels? Thank God I'm invulnerable. Hypermite can be a pain in the ass. I was really hoping So Fast would drive into that. So that was kind of the big idea of that one, which would require, of course, a separate profile. But I already have like 8 here on that game, which one more? Oh. The missile didn't even hit him, I just ran into him. Oh, hello, minion! That's a little jarring to see that suddenly spawn in front of you. Oh, machine guns are defeated. I'd have died like 7 times the amount of damage I just took there. That's a lot of damage. Oh my god, that is a lot of damage burn. And then for Speed Racer, which would fall under Universe 2, or what, Universe 0, canonically. It doesn't happen in Universe 2, because Universe 2 is instead this and the Velocity War rather than anything else. That's a lot of damage. And of course too, in Velocity X and as well when Speed Racer hat rolls around, not everyone's a Hot Wheels character. Some of the additional characters that appeared in Universe 0 will be there as well. Prime examples being, like, there was one of the original ones, I had to look at the list. Well, that was weird. Oh, that's not so weird. That's a great noise, isn't it? Solid. That took like 25 gas cans. I do like how Vern, Danny, and Alex are all in the enemy rotation. Yeah, I think they all come in a row too, which is kind of funny. What? Coming through. Speed Racer, on the other hand, because the kind of progression in that game works almost like Mario Kart. They have like a speed class system and all that stuff, which I don't find all that enjoyable. Because it also decreases the number of cars in a race in lower classes. Like, at least for the PS2 version, because the Wii version and PS2 version are very different games in that sense, of capabilities of, like, you know, the software itself is very different, of course. I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't know that, obviously, but, like, what the heck just happened there? Warthog just suddenly decided to do the moonwalk, but the car version. Doom Disc. I'm in a cog. I don't know how much longer. I'll probably go to like 32. Because that would be killing each enemy 4 times, since there's 8 enemies in the rotation. Like the rotation. I mean, I used to think Sparky was hot when I was little, but, like, come on. Hi, Minion. I keep calling him Minion. That is the Surfing School Bus. I've entirely agreed on this fact, but that is a Surfing School Bus. Kind of based off of the, Grease Lightning Strikes Back series you did, where you had, the final boss as a 1v1 battle with the Surfing School Bus. I say final boss very loosely. I like how that's in large letters, like, Minion is dead, and then it's like Spectre destroyed. Gas cannons are interactive. It's basically just me destroying the L2 button until they die. Kinda like this, 2 and 3 and 4. And 5, and 6, and goodbye, Danny. Kill Alex one more time for good measure. I guess Alex doesn't like that idea. Who'd have thought, huh? Bullseye bonus. I'll turn God Mode off and see if I can get to Minion without dying or something. Because there's no, like, you know, ending system that lets you keep the score you've gotten. Well, the environment pickup is doing any good here. There isn't an environment attack in this stage. Nah, I'm good. Get some flames! Look at being all fishing and shit. Get out of here. If I remember it, after Metacog is Minion, so that should mean that I'm basically I should be able to get to Minion without blowing up here. Yeah, a little bit. I will not kill him. I can nope, it's not, it's Sparky. And I have no weapons, and Sparky is a pain because her weapons can't really miss. Avoid damage! Or at least try anyway. Easier said than done when it's Outlaw with her. With its not really missing weapons. As in that stupid turret. I feel like Otto would be the type to bring up Danny being an abusive boyfriend in this timeline to like get in Sparky's head. I can entirely see that. I have survived, and I'm pretty sure Minion is right there, yep. So that's enough of that. Now, I've kind of demonstrated it to a pretty large extent. But, I mean, if you don't know how Speed Racer looks or plays, I'd probably look up some kind of video on it, because it's hard for, I mean, I could explain it, but I feel like I'm kind of running short on time in the video, because I do still have that hour limit. Yeah, so this is, that dump truck looks a little different in this garage scene compared to, you know, on the game. Mountain Dew next. I like on ice, because we're out of, well, there's none in the fridge, obviously. Awfully convenient crack in the window there, huh? So they can see this, like, discount, like, Gimsuit Yoda driving this truck. His name is just Black. Wonder why. At least Black in this game is kind of interesting. Like, as an idea, an interesting concept of a character, just kind of a pain, because nothing he says makes any sense. I'm gonna that when I actually play through him, or play through that story, you know, in the next episode. But anyway, so Speed Racer is basically F-Zero with dialogue. Dialogue and very minimum risk of flying off the course because you missed a turn. The game is a little bit on rails, mainly so because of the Wii motion controls, making it impossible to stay on the track otherwise. But also so because of the fact that the game kind of inspires a focus on the game's car foo system, which is basically just like, it's like combat racing. It's like if some sort of weird, bizarre union between like Tekken and a racing game came to be. The closest thing you can probably get is Speed Racer. And it's kind of simplistic idea of, you know, driving fast and, you know, engaging in combat is kind of what has had me hooked on the game for a long time now. I got it like 8 or 9 years ago along with the Wii itself. And then I had it on the PS2 a couple years ago when I found it like really cheap at a game, like an old game store where my dad lives. And the best part about Speed Racer 2 is obviously the cars or the characters actually have some kind of personality to them. And the entire way throughout the race, you know, you're getting, albeit sometimes it can be a bit too much dialogue, crammed down your throat while you're racing. Every time you pass somebody, get past, start drafting, hit someone, get hit. Heck, the Wii version even has lines for when you select a character. All the other crazy stuff. There's some interesting systems in there too that kind of add into the concept of giving each character a different driver from the Hot Wheels storylines. Other than being able to base it off of car design, car stats, and car, you know, just car like, visuals. Sort of like what I've done in this game, you know. Danny is roadkill because it's green, Alex is Crazy 8 because it's red, and so on. And Burn is Spectre because it's blue, even though Power Pipes is more like a dark purple. But there technically isn't a purple car in this game, so... So yeah. But there's also this, like, ally and rival system in the championship modes, where each character has one rival every time, and each character also has one ally. And allies don't attack you, usually. They'll sometimes hit you by accident. And their job is to kind of help you attack your rival. And the point of a rival is that they're really aggressive, but you get double points for attacking them. And you can also score championship points by doing, you know, enough damage through attacking your opponents. If you hit an ally, you lose points, and if they blow up from your hit, they actually are no longer your ally. But of course, while some of these alliances and rivalries can lead to interesting dynamics between characters. So for example, Gearhead is allies with Dexter. And I guess when I kind of like analyzed this fact, it occurred to me, it's like, well, I mean, Dexter has built robots. So it kind of makes sense. Gearhead would side with, or Gearhead, a self-absorbed, very capable, very smart robot, would align himself with Dexter, the self-absorbed, very capable, and very, I guess, diminutive little nerdy kid who has built and fixed and or destroyed robots before. Or the only 4 characters that are not represented are the 4 main characters from the film for Speed Racer are still going by their names. So Speed Racer Trixie, who's Speed Racer's girlfriend, Cannonball, who is like the main antagonist, and Racer X are not changed. I would still call them Speed Racer and whatever other names if I saw them on the track. But every other character is changed to either a Hot Wheels or Cartoon Network character. There are no other characters. Ironically, there's no Captain Falcon here. I could probably sneak him in if I wanted to, but I don't really know if I necessarily want to or not. Because that's kind of the low-hanging fruit, I guess. And I noticed I've used that phrase a lot. I've used that phrase a lot recently. There isn't really a car that looks like his, necessarily. There are 2 that are the right color, but they already are kind of important characters. Other things too, though, the game has a pretty good soundtrack. Like, actually, it's seriously really damn good. Which kind of adds to the excitement of the gameplay. Probably more than the actual gameplay itself. So, take that how you will, but I find the gameplay simple enough to be fun, but or simple enough to where it's not hard to have fun with it, rather. But of course, all this means nothing, or very little, until I can get around to recording it. I'm just kind of wondering if I make an extra episode somewhere in the near future. Maybe not even recording with the game in the background, just kind of... I mean, I have the game in the background because I have to be playing the game to record. But I don't know if it would be a Precursor or this, or if I found a 3rd game I could do it for. But I don't know if I want to reveal the characters and cars yet. For... Well, Speed Racer doesn't matter if I reveal the characters, because you don't even know who they are. Unless you've looked at videos of the game. I could honestly have done like half of that story in this time frame, I'm not gonna lie. I could probably almost beat a prison passage by now. And I've just been sitting here talking about plans several months in the future at least. But yes, unless you looked at videos of Speed Racer, me telling you who has, or which character is who wouldn't even really matter. Because if I told you who Booster was, you wouldn't know who it was. And if I told you that Dexter was Sonic Boom, you'd be like, who? Why does this matter? Because you haven't seen the characters yet. And you haven't seen the cars either, so you wouldn't really know what I'm going off of when I say that. For all you know, the fact that this character is this, or this driver is this character could be completely phony. You don't know. Yeah, it's because you haven't seen me play the game. Or anyone for that matter, I would assume. But Lost DX, on the other hand, not only is there actually a major plot to it, the only purpose of Speed Racer is it's sort of the new stunt track challenge. In both universes. Not just Universe 0, I made that mistake earlier. It is actually the kind of Universe 2 version of Stunt Track Challenge, with a bit more emphasis on battling, and less emphasis on stunt tracks. Actually, I take that back, there are definitely still stunt tracks. These tracks are crazy looking. Again, it's like F-Zero, so I'm gonna take that into heavy consideration when even trying to imagine what Speed Racer is like. And it's like, WRL was something that, it's actually obviously something that exists in the movie canon. I can't even think of a way right now to slip it into Hot Wheels canon. I mean, I guess you would just say Ryan Storm created it because he, has to get with the times. The fans have changed because so the game has to change, all that sort of stuff. I can't talk over that stupid dump truck anymore. I'm gonna just turn the music off right now. I'll cancel when I am done. Also, yeah, I can probably turn this back up. Oh, crap. I mean, I said I'd cancel, didn't I? Yeah, fix that after I end the recording, I guess. Because I can't talk over the music anymore, and I can't talk over the stupid truck anymore. So, yeah, Ryan Storm just kind of created this to kind of keep fans interested in a stunt arena race type situation. Since Stunt Track Challenge had been on hold for so long, it was basically non-existent at that point. So, there is a plot. It's just a matter of it's not really... It's nothing remarkable. It's not like, ooh, this is going to shift the entirety of the plot line. No. It's just there. It has a reason to exist, and it does. It doesn't do anything else. Sort of like... It's sort of like burning rubber. It's kind of... not incomprehensive, but there's a word like that. Conflictive? No. Anyway, doesn't matter. It's inconsequential. There it is. It doesn't really change much of anything if something happens in this game, because none of it's really even permanent at all. I can kill an opponent as many times as I would like, and they're just gonna respawn 6 or 7 seconds later. And really, the only thing that can possibly happen is there's slight character development. Maybe we even factor some of the personalities of the character that corresponds to what driver into that character's personality, but I kind of think that's a little bit of a stretch. However, so even if, like, once you have seen some, like, gameplay and the characters of Speed Racer, telling you those characters wouldn't really be much of a detriment. On the other hand, though, if I do care at all to preserve the kind of plot fidelity of this series, I can't really say who the Velocity X characters are until we get there. And, because then, I mean, I could, and there'd be a benefit to doing that. But the way I kind of see it is, I kind of have to keep things, under lock and key, so that there's any kind of suspense about what's going on. But on the other hand, if you knew the characters, you could then give some form of input, suggestions and ideas, because of course we have like 35 Hot Wheels characters. I can't remember all of them off the top of my head while trying to associate them to a certain car. And this is even evidenced because there's a pretty major character that I am completely missing because I can't figure out what they would drive out of this, group of 33 cars, none of which really look like it. I have one possible idea that I could use on this character, but that's about it. But I am pretty proud with the majority of the list. It does have basically any character that you'd really want, outside of like probably 2 big ones that are missing. A couple of complications, and the roster kind of differential between Universe 0 editions and Universe 1 characters. Universe 1, like I said, I'm assuming I've said it a couple times before, is my term for your playthrough. Universe 0 is Assetto Corsa and more passive racing experiences. Universe 2 is the war timeline where we have the Velocity Wars and Precursor to it. Speed Racer will take place in it, and that's basically it for the foreseeable future, unless I determine that I'm going to record like another Twisted Metal game or something, since there is another PS2 game other than this one that I could do, but I don't think that I will. So, yeah, it would be hard pressed to think of anything else that would kind of fit into this timeline once the Velocity Wars are over. And there is a determined end to them as well. Getting to that point where it would end is going to be a kind of random chance, like random choices of, I feel like doing this, and I'll try and figure out a reason why that's happening. But besides that, there is no clear path between point A and point B. I do know point A, which is going, you start off by finishing the adventure mode and then acquiring the remaining 13 vehicles of anything that you'd get from a joyride, and then 3 challenge cars. And yeah, that's. And then point B is the kind of, you know, end game of what would ideally end the war. Will it? I cannot tell you. But that's what the characters want the case to be, at the very least. So I think I'm getting pretty close to the recording timer here, assuming this is even recording at all. So yeah, that is going to be it for this sort of extended episode of the Velocity War Precursor. Next, as I mentioned, is going to be that in the Tonka Truck ripoff. And that weird looking dude in a zipper hoodie. Or zipper hood.